Next, Cody Vanzo, a parent from Dearborn, would like to come to speak to the board about the boundary line exemption forms.
Hi, my name's Cody Vanzo. 5 years ago, my husband and I moved to Dearborn because of your reputation. Down the street from Nowlin Elementary, how perfect. So, trying to enroll our child in pre-K, we found out that Nowlin did not have an AM kids club, which for us doesn't work with our family. I'm a nurse. I work at 7:30 a.m., hard start time. My husband works at 4 a.m. So, without the exception of kids club, we're not going to be in your district. I have no problem pulling my child out of this district if it is for both of us to keep our jobs. The way that inflation is, we have a 2-parent working family, and that is what we have. Our village is small, but we work hard for everything that we have. Our grandparents are still working, so help is limited for us. And we are currently attending Long Elementary, and we are paying for developmental preschool for our child. I have no problem doing that at all. But with the exemption form, that limits us to Nowlin. And I would love to walk my kid to school every morning, but I can't. Now I'm not going to be able to. I don't even know if I'm going to be in this district, and that makes me really sad, and it makes my heart break. We might have to move for both of us to keep our jobs. Don't you think that's a little ridiculous? If boundary exemptions are an issue for people that abuse them, then maybe we need to make some more requirements for them. Maybe, I don't know, have managers chirp in, or have people that work, single parents that work only for the AM Kids Club. And boundary exemptions would be fine if all of your elementary schools, middle schools offered the same type of program, the AM, the PM care. But I cannot get my child to school at 9 a.m. It is impossible for a family to do so. We love all of our teachers at Long, and no disrespect to Nowlin, but we do. We've fallen in love with every teacher that we have ever met in this district, and it is shocking to me that this is even an issue. I am so blown away that your choice, it seems like you didn't even think about how it would affect working families, not even in the least, and especially for your employees. I am just so blown away. I honestly don't even know. So, trying to enroll my child in kindergarten and then finding out that this was a change that was made, and it seemed like nobody knew about it, which was also a little strange, I thought. What are working families supposed to do with 2 parents that work, or a single father? What are we supposed to do? It's not so much school of choice, it's necessity for our family to have an AM Kids Club. Thank you.
Next, Joe Winkle, an employee, would like to come to speak to the board about the boundary line exemptions.
Good evening. My name is Joseph Winkle. I'm a 5th grade teacher at Miller Elementary. I am here to speak on behalf of my fellow DFT members. We are concerned and frustrated with the recent decisions made by the board. 2 days after the teachers in the district worked together to renew the millage, the district decides to reverse its stance on the boundary line exemption for residents. This action cannot be seen as anything other than punitive, as it coincides with our union beginning negotiations. This decision amounts to the district stacking the deck. Are you prepared to deny community members this choice when you've already lost 400 students? Families want to send their students to the school they think is best and that best fits their needs, as we just heard. Unfortunately, we cannot say all of our schools are equal. Families have complained numerous times about poor conditions of many buildings, crumbling roofs and walls, failing heat and AC systems, lack of AC systems, and infestations of pests. Are you prepared to repair and possibly rebuild to keep these families here? And with this lack of support in our personal lives, now we face it professionally. Teachers observe and track the behavior and academics of their students regularly. We do this to look for patterns of how we can help the kiddos improve. Sometimes we need help, or we think our students need more help than we can give. And it is disheartening for us when we ask for that help and our experience and hard work is ignored. Or worse, we are told to do and offered coaching sessions. Imagine having 20 plus years experience in your job, and that is the help you're given when you're willing to ask for help, when you're willing to be vulnerable and expose yourself to your boss and say you need help. As Mr. Martin said here earlier, our schools are not equal and there needs to be help across the board. Teachers all sit on various committees across the district, and these committees are tremendous potential to harness the wealth of knowledge that teachers bring each day. They offer creative solutions that the district has to these wide array of problems when they are listened to. What is the purpose of these committees if we're swept aside and a decision is made without us? At the elementary level, we've had 2 new curriculums this year, and I sit on one of those subject committees, and we've had some great ideas only to hear, we'll ask this committee, or we'll ask the district, and then nothing comes of it. As our Superintendent Maleko and many of you have already said, we do top-tier work here in Dearborn, and I believe that when I say it. And we can continue to do that by providing the best choices for our families and valuing the experience and knowledge all of us bring to the table. Thank you.
Thank you.
Trustee Barry. I'd like to make a motion to extend the meeting for another 15 minutes.
Support.
We have motion support. Roll call vote, please.
Trustee D'Ambrosio?
Yes.
Trustee McDonald?
Yes.
Trustee Moses?
Yes.
Trustee Petrikov?
Yes.
Trustee Thorpe?
Yes.
Trustee Watts? Yes. President Berry?
Yes.
Next, employee Cynthia Alvarado would like to come to speak to the board about school libraries.
Good evening, friends. Thank you very much for supporting my retirement last month, but I've come to bring you a little parting gift. You've heard me before speak in support of school libraries. So I've actually brought you each a book so that you don't forget us. I'm going to give you each of you one of these books called This is a Story. It's by John Chu, and I'm not as eloquent as he is, but it explains the role of stories in learning, that stories are really necessary for us to be able to retain things in our memory and to be able to have the emotional stability that we need. That's a good way that we can help our emotional stability and heal our hearts. And I don't think anybody would disagree with that. I'm sure in your own experience, you know most of the main things that you remember from elementary school have something to do with the story. Well, you've already forgotten school libraries, though, even though I'm not gone, because I've changed my talk a bit, because when I heard that secondary plan for literacy, I didn't hear libraries mentioned anywhere. And if you want students to read more, what you need is a vibrant library program that offers a wide variety of free choice books at a lot of levels, overseen by a professional librarian who knows the curriculum, who knows literacy, and who knows the literature, because that's how you can sell kids that books are fun. You can give them the books that actually fit them and make them happy. So I suggest that you look into the research on the value of school library programs, and even though I'm retiring, I'm still in the area. So if you would like some pointers on where to look or how to look at it, I would be more than happy to help you. But let me give you your gifts before I go.
Call next.
Next, employee Melanie Klein from Canton would like to come to speak to the board about teacher voice, curriculum, and committees.
Good evening, members of the board. As an elected member of the Dearborn Federation of Teachers Executive Board, I'm speaking to you today on behalf of our members to encourage the district to value and trust our teachers' expertise in regards to curriculum and committees. I have been a teacher in the district for 21 years, both at the elementary and secondary levels. Over the years, along with extensive experience in the classroom, my colleagues and I have attended numerous instructional conferences and professional development sessions, read countless books and articles regarding best teaching practices, and we have utilized a variety of curriculum resources provided by the district. Along with fellow teachers, I have piloted instructional programs considered by the district and served on district committees that included many meetings to discuss our experiences with and give feedback about the piloted curriculum. When asked to vote as a committee on the adoption of new curriculum, committee members have witnessed the district making another curriculum choice or choosing no new curriculum at all, rather than the curriculum choice voted on by the majority of the committee. Furthermore, when new curriculum and programs were not effective and teachers have spoken out, it has often fallen on deaf ears, forcing teachers to use a curriculum that they know is not benefiting our students. In addition to curriculum committees, fellow colleagues and I have had a similar experience when serving on interview committees for various district positions, including administrative positions. After analyzing the responses of the candidates and ranking them accordingly from first choice to last choice, the district has chosen candidates that the committee did not rank as the first or even second choice. Committee members discovered this through discussion after sharing our rankings once the interview process had ended. When experiences such as these occur, it makes teachers feel that their time is disrespected and that their experience is undervalued. It creates a distrust among our teaching staff. Moving forward, I encourage the district to value our teachers' voices in regards to curriculum and committees. Our students deserve the best education possible. Our teachers deserve the experience of strong leadership, leaders that are not only knowledgeable, but also personable and reflective. Many of our teachers have wisdom through years of experience. It's time to put more trust in our teachers, the true experts of curriculum and the backbone of our district. Listening to our voices more genuinely will support a positive morale and allow our district to grow and thrive at a more productive pace. Thank you.
Next, Amira Saidi, parent, community member, and employee from Dearborn, would like to come to speak to the board about teacher voice.
Good evening. I'm Amira Saidi, a DPS teacher, parent, and union leader. I'm here to speak about the value of teacher voice. Nationally, teachers are demanding a seat at the table in educational policy discussions. Atlanta elected the first ever active teacher to their school board, while Chicago teachers organized to elect the first ever former educator as mayor of Chicago. Political leaders are realizing the importance of gaining educator insight on policy. It is time for our district leaders to take note. I heard an old quote last week from Ralph Nader that has been resonating with me for days. He said, "I don't want to have a climate in this country where one has to have an ascetic existence and steely determination in order to speak truthfully and candidly and critically of American industry." His words struck me, not as it relates to industry, but rather to our dealings with district leaders. The steely determination required to bring you our concerns as experts in the field is exhausting and disrespectful. We bring to your attention urgent issues that are impeding our ability to teach effectively. Concerns about boundary line exemptions being taken away from staff and how this has caused undue stress on our time. You ignore or dismiss emails from teachers who know exactly why students and families are choosing to leave DPS for online schools like Penn Foster. We hold meetings and discussions around teacher injuries and the absent sense of safety for educators and students. These serious issues are superficially dealt with or kicked down the road. Steely determination should not be required to interact with our elected representatives or administrators. It is exhausting to bring up critical issues to leadership in DPS only to be dismissed as just another nagging teacher who doesn't know her place. And parents, I know you are equally exhausted. We believe this exhaustion is by design, and we are through with the apathy. We do not create the storms we have to work within. We fight to teach every day to high standards that many of us set for ourselves despite the instability caused by administrative and board decisions that sabotage our work. Changes like switching teacher assignments, which disrupts expertise gained through years of teaching a subject, or annual cuts to full-time positions and frequent curriculum changes. We teach while implementing the 1001 directives and changes and ideas coming from the top, a spot that has become too detached and removed from our lived realities. In fact, one of the best suggestions I could make for leadership is to move everyone and every meeting, including these school board meetings, into our schools. We want you to do your work in the same buildings we are forced to do our work, not in a building that is so sequestered as to never experience the same decibels we hear every day, or the same heating and cooling issues, or the same unlocked, unmanned doors we have, or the same internet outages or slowdowns, or the same flooding, etc. Do your jobs under our conditions, or just listen to us when we tell you about our conditions, or make room for others who are ready to listen. This November, 2 school board seats are up. Our union will only endorse true champions for teachers in our community. Failure to listen to us has compromised learning quality. We need trustees who value grassroots communication and teacher expertise. With the steely determination we've gained, we'll ensure our voices are heard for the betterment of our schools and, most importantly, our students. Thank you.
Next, Brian Mikulski, an employee from Dearborn Heights, would like to come to speak to the board about music and elective offerings and scheduling.
Hello. Brian McCloskey, instrumental music at Dearborn High School. You'll have to forgive me if this seems a little extemporaneous because I just have an outline. I didn't write out a speech. We've been meeting with administrators recently as electives teachers, and actually me as sort of a department head for performing arts at Dearborn High. I was given a folder with, these are what your current numbers are looking like for the fall, and with some things marked in red. And red is always very concerning. The red being, we cannot run this class unless we increase the numbers in it. And I'm sure you've already heard from some of my other colleagues in the music, and Dr. Maleko has been on our music caucus meetings, and it is very concerning to us that we are still in this, what we call the COVID bubble, where a lot of kids lost interest in doing things and dropped out of programs, dropped out of sports, you name it. And seeing the red or the yellow or the green on one class is very concerning. That when, and I don't want this to reflect badly on my administrators, I think they are supportive and they do like to see the music go, and they do want us to succeed. They do. Both the assistant principal who is in charge of scheduling and Ms. Jabril. I do believe that they are supportive of us. But if they are looking at numbers in this way and saying, well, if I have to fill a science classroom or I need to fill a math classroom, then your 15 in orchestra just isn't going to cut it, and they don't run that course, it goes away. I can say the same thing for my colleague in the vocal music and in theater, that our numbers are in such a way currently that this looming danger is over us. And we're still in this COVID bubble where the students have dropped out of programs. Now with 8th grades are very small all over the district, but we see the 7th, the 6th, and the 5th with large numbers. And we want to see them come up. And we need to keep those programs alive. If we don't offer orchestra, or we don't offer concert choir because the numbers were a little bit too little, just a few students below that cutoff line, then that program goes away. We won't get those kids back. It'll be hard to put it back in. So I just want to voice that concern that all the three of us in the performing arts at Dearborn High, if that number were stuck to, you would have no performing arts classes at Dearborn High next year. Thank you.
I'd like to make a motion to extend the meeting by another 15 minutes.
Support.
We have a motion supported. Roll call vote, please.
Trustee D'Ambrosio?
Yes.
Trustee McDonald?
Yes.
Trustee Moses?
Yes.
Trustee Petlicoff?
Yes.
Trustee Thorpe?
Yes.
Trustee Watts? Yes. President Barry?
Yes.
Next, parent Crystal Paulson would like to come to speak to the board about curriculum over the last 3 years.
I was gonna talk about that, but not now. I told you so. I get to say it to your face. I told you so. I wish Stephanie was here, but she's 9 months pregnant and hopefully a healthy baby and healthy labor and delivery, but we told you so. So, what are you guys gonna do? I mean, we told you what was gonna happen. It's happening. I mean, we gave you everything. If you guys didn't stop, this is what was gonna happen. You can see the divide. It's obvious now. Something needs to change. The curriculum, this is what, the 4th year of you guys adopted. So it's in process right now. It's failing because the new change is not working, obviously. So, if everybody just goes back to the basics and do what they're supposed to do and include the parents, because we got ousted last year. Teachers attacked the parents attacked the teachers. We shut down the meeting. So, the only thing that's changed is now you have them upset at you. So.
Next, employee Kathy Loris would like to come to speak to the board about early childhood education.
Good evening, Dr. Maleko and members of the board. My name is Kathy Loris. I am a JSRP teacher and an elected Dearborn Federation of Teachers Executive Board member. I've been teaching for 19 years, and this is my 10th year here in Dearborn Public Schools. I'm here tonight to speak to you on behalf of our members regarding early childhood education within Dearborn Public Schools. As you know, we have several early childhood programs within our district. We have a strong beginnings program for 3-year-old children, which has a 1-to-7 ratio and a strong family component. We have 38 GSRP classrooms for 4-year-old children, servicing 608 Dearborn families. We also have several Young Fives classrooms spread throughout our district, in addition to many kindergarten classrooms in every elementary and every intermediate building. As we begin to move towards universal preschool, also known as pre-K for all, there are several things your highly qualified teachers want and students need this Board of Education, as well as district administration, to know, understand, and fully support. The first item is developmentally appropriate practice. Developmentally appropriate practice ensures all young children have the support they need to learn and grow in an environment that meets their unique needs. Teachers want and students need this support to include things such as decreasing the Young Fives class size from 19 to 16 and keeping the maximum GSRP class size at 16 as opposed to increasing it to 20 like the state of Michigan wants to do. Because as all of us here know, smaller class sizes directly increases student learning and achievement. Teachers want and students need you to know, support, and understand that 5 days a week is no way developmentally appropriate for 4-year-old children in GSRP, and that Young Fives is not merely kindergarten light. They desperately need their own curriculum. Teachers want and students need you to help get rid of the kindergarten waiver to ensure that our students are being placed in the correct classrooms, especially in a state where kindergarten is not even mandatory. Teachers want and students need you to understand that developmentally appropriate curriculum, learning through play and hands-on activities, is actually academic. As Mr. Rogers said, play is often talked about as if it's a relief from serious learning, but for children, play is serious learning. The GSRP program is rated the top pre-K program in the state of Michigan, and we get those results through playing. Lastly, teachers want and students need you to understand that all of us, Strong Beginnings, GSRP, Young Fives, and every kindergarten teacher has their ZA or ZS endorsement, which makes all of us highly qualified experts in early childhood education. We put an additional 30 hours or more of college coursework in play, as well as an extra semester of student teaching, the same way our beloved special ed teachers have done to get their endorsements. And while none of you would even consider putting a non-special ed certified teacher in a special ed classroom, we are begging you to stop trying to get rid of the ZA-ZS endorsement for our early childhood position. Thank you.
Next, employee Nicole Hattrick would like to come to speak to the board about teacher voice and the impact of budget restrictions on special electives.
Good evening. My name is Nicole Hartrick. I'm an instrumental music teacher in the district, finishing up my 10th year. I am also an elected board member and building rep with the union. I want to bring two issues to your attention tonight. The first issue is the lack of authentic teacher voice in district planning and decision-making processes. While teachers are asked to sit on committees for all sorts of reasons, the common perception from teachers after putting time and effort into sharing their opinions and thoughts in these committees is that they are not actually taken into consideration when it's time to make a plan or a decision. Many teachers feel that the district is checking a box to say they're including the teacher voice in the decision-making process, but not actually moving forward with the input given by the teachers. I urge leadership to explore ways to further integrate teacher ideas, suggestions, and feedback in a way that is valued and acted upon to ensure teachers feel that professional input and experiences are being considered by those at the top. The second issue I'm concerned about is the impact the budget shortfall will have on specials and electives teachers. You've heard me speak up here before about the importance of equity and instrumental offerings across all school buildings in the district. The board and administration has heard these concerns, and this year we have instrumental music of some sort offered across all middle school buildings. This year there was a continuation for band, orchestra, and choir classes between 5th grade and the high school ensembles for most students. Thank you for your support of the music program. This renewal would not have happened without directives from the board and top administrators, so thank you for that support. This rebuild will take time, and it will not happen in a single year, 2 years. I think the earliest, statistically is shown, is 3 years for it to come back. I've already heard that Salina is reducing its instrumental program down to a 0.2 position. This is instrumental, and that Stout will be reduced to 0.6. When principals have the authority to cut or boost any program they see fit, there's a risk of the previous inequities resurfacing that we've been fighting and advocating for so long. Principals are given the task to decide staffing, and this decision is often based on numbers of students served in each class, as Mr. McCloskey was talking about. This simplistic way of addressing what classes are offered to students overlooks the big picture. How are we as leaders ensuring that students are receiving a holistic education? In addition to core subjects, a holistic education includes PE, art, music, and access to a media specialist in every school. Special and elective teachers get to connect students to the real world through creativity and artistic expression, through physical movement, and through the world of a book. We enhance concepts taught in core classes through a creative and hands-on perspective. A well-rounded education includes more than a score on a standardized test. It requires thriving specials and electives departments with equity across all buildings. I am concerned that the staff reorganization that is planned to meet the budget shortfall will result in a loss of specials and elective offerings to students. In fact, I already see that it is impacting in schools such as Salina and Stout. A successful school district that will retain students and be the pride of Dearborn includes thriving specials and elective departments. In addition to not cutting staff, I urge you to fund these programs with equitable and sufficient resource to run these programs successfully and supply teachers and students with adequate learning spaces in which to teach. Thank you.
Next, Erin Tabor, a community member and employee from Hamtramck, would like to speak to the board about teacher voice. Erin Tabor. The last blue card is the employee, Roseanne Olis from Dearborn, would like to come to speak to the board about teacher voice.
Good evening, board members. I'm Roseanne Oles, a dedicated educator in Dearborn, an elected union board member, and a parent of a Bryant Middle School student. With 20 years of teaching experience, including 7 in this district, I am here representing the Dearborn Federation of Teachers Union Board to advocate for more meaningful and effective use of our professional development time. While we understand the necessity of fulfilling PD hours, it is crucial that these hours are utilized to enhance our teaching practices and ultimately benefit our students. Many of our members find themselves attending PD sessions that are not directly relevant to their areas of expertise or feel they are experiencing deja vu, attending another PD that is likely a recycled version of one attended in the not-so-distant past. Teachers are tired of yet another benchmark PD or an intro to iReady or the new math curriculum 3 months after we were thrown into using it. Teachers want choice. Yes, new teachers and new hires to the district need benchmark training, but as educators, we know that one-size-fits-all training is not best for all. Thus, seasoned educators who have been using the program for years could greatly benefit from more advanced or specialized training to further enhance their skills and PD that will shake new life into their teaching. Additionally, many teachers, both new and veteran, are facing challenges related to post-COVID classroom management and utilizing technology effectively. First, teachers provide social-emotional support for students, yet required curriculum hours do not provide adequate time to fulfill this need. This topic needs addressing. Second, teachers have access to amazing technology, like Promethean boards. However, staff are not trained on how to effectively utilize these features of this technology. These are areas where targeted and practical PD could make a significant impact. We also believe the power of peer-to-peer learning. Many of us have decades of teaching experience and a wealth of knowledge to share. We want to learn from each other. We want to see each other's classrooms. We want to see each other in action. Allowing teachers to lead PD sessions and learn from each other can be far more inspiring and effective than bringing in external trainers who may not be familiar with our community or our student population. Learning directly from master teachers is what makes all of us fabulous teachers. This is where inspiration lies. Teachers inspiring teachers. We urge the district to recognize and respect the expertise of our veteran teachers. We have much to offer and should be valued for our contributions. By providing more choice and meaningful PD opportunities, we can continue to grow and inspire each other, ultimately benefiting our students and our community. Thank you.
We have several yellow cards. Student Alexandria Cardine from Dearborn. She said, choir program is the greatest thing to happen to Fortson Heights School. Employee Latifa Sabah from Dearborn. As a resident and employee, I've been highly impacted by the new BLE changes. I can't physically be at work and drop my son off at a different school with different start-end times. It costs the district nothing to keep BLE. Parent Amira Masad from Dearborn. I would first like to thank the district for providing Collegiate Academy. It's a program my daughter just finished. However, I was disappointed that the district planned testing right after Eid, very harsh to test and the kids after a holiday. The last yellow card is a community member, Michael Prickett from Dearborn. It is an injustice to allow budget constraints to create a narrative that justifies layoffs. In September, the federal stimulus runs out and millage hasn't been renewed. The city can do better as a DHS this city can do better as a DHS graduate and expect more of my alma mater. Those are the end of the yellow cards.
Thank you.